This case might have everything you need in a small form factor. Today, I have the Lian A3 Micro ATX DAN case to check out, so let's dive in. The Lian A3 is going to be 306 millimeters high, 443 millimeters deep, and 194 millimeters wide. And it's super easy to disassemble the case. As you can see, you can just pull the side panels off. They're held in with plastic clips that hold up into the top there, as you can see. And then the top panel is held on with 2 thumb screws that you can just unscrew by hand. From there, all you have to do is pull back and then up, and you'll lift the top panel off of the case itself. Now all sides are exposed, and we can just pop the front off by pulling out as well. It's held on by the same type of plastic clips that the side panels are held on with. Now the power supply has an extension cable from back to front where the power supply gets mounted. It slides right into this mount, and this is for ATX size power supplies. The power supply bracket is able to be unscrewed and moved to different levels. Now the different levels is going to play into the different configuration. And here on Lian Li's website, we can see the different levels and the different configurations of the case that you can have. So only one configuration here has a GPU length of 415, and only 2 configurations has a top radiator of 360 millimeters. And here you can see the different levels that the power supply sits at. So the PSU installation has quite a bit of variance. As you can see, we're looking at ATX PSU on the front, but you also have an offset bracket that comes with the case where you can mount the ATX PSU with offset bracket and have slightly different configurations here. You can also do an edge front mount where you're going to have different configurations of GPU length and radiator sizes. And you can also use SFX power supplies as well. As you can see, here's one with an SFX power supply that gives you the 415 millimeter GPU length, a 360 millimeter top radiator, and a 240 or 280 millimeter side radiator. So this configuration, if you can find a good SFX power supply, is going to give you the most options in terms of GPU length and top radiator size. Then you can also have a SFX L front, where you're going to be able to run a 415 millimeter GPU with a 360 top rad in the f2.5 position right here. So again, a lot of different configurations that you can do, and Lian Li's website covers this extremely well. Now this side panel is where you can mount the radiator or the fans, and these 2 screws come off and allow the side panel to come down, and you can remove it. It's so much easier to install radiators and fans with a system like this, and I'm super excited that they decided to include it. Now the top here is where you can install the top radiator or fans, and they're just going to go right down along the top like this, and it's super easy to get to and install, so I don't see any issues happening with installation on that. Turning to the bottom, we have a dust cover right here that you can remove very easily by just pulling it off. As you can see right here, it's magnetized with these strips, so there's no attachment other than the magnets. And then here on the bottom, you can install your fans, and above the fans, you can install a 3.5-inch hard drive. On the front I/O is 2 USB 3.2 ports. We have the power button, and then we also have a mic in and an HD audio port. And then we have a USB 3.1 Type-C port. This bracket is easily removable and allows you to install 2 2.5-inch hard drives. Now this bracket also plays into the side mounting of the power supply. Back on Lian Li's website, you can see front PSU installation. Then you also have side PSU installation. You can see we have an ATX PSU side with various configurations, an edge side with various configurations, and an SFX side with various configurations, as well as an SFX-L with various configurations. So again, a ton of configurations with how you can configure your power supply placement with different sized power supplies. So on the back of the A3, we're going to have 4 PCI Express slots that you can use. And then we also have a little door right here that we can open to help access the screws. And this door actually does play a different role because it does have a vertical GPU mount kit that you can purchase separately, and that's where the IO for the GPU would sit if you got the vertical kit. Now, just above those PCI Express slots, you can fit a 120 millimeter exhaust fan in the back of the case. The front IO plugs are excellent. It comes with a unified plug for the power button and other things that get plugged into those pins. And it also has the HD audio and USB header plugs as well. Now for $69.99, in my personal opinion, you get a ton of value that comes through all the different configurations that you can put this case in. And what I mean by that is you can run full-size graphics cards and an AIO, which would allow you to run the highest end CPUs from either Intel or AMD. The only downsides that I personally see to the case is going to be the difficulty in cable routing if you decide to go with a lot of different components. However, that's not unique to this case because any smaller form factor case is going to have those issues when it comes to cable routing and cable management. I think Lian Li does a great job in terms of attempting to give you options for that, but it's just an inherent downside to a smaller form factor build. The only other downside that I can see is where you plug in the power supply power cable. It's a slightly different yellow that kind of looks like it's been sun damaged. I'm not a huge fan of the difference in color, but it's a minor gripe for a really good value case. With all that said, I'm super excited to be building in this case. So stay tuned to the channel to see the build come together. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.